Worker Benefits Program Manager. A lot of you know me from emailing and logistics and everything. And yeah, I've been working hard with our broker team at Marsh McLennan Agency with Robin Fox and Michelle Swain to set up some really good options for us in 2026. Um, I'm so glad to see so many people here. Would love invite you if you are interested to turn your camera on because I love to be able to see people's faces and be able to have some sense of how it's landing. No pressure, but that would be great if you can. So thanks. And yeah, I'm gonna be presenting this in English today. We're recording in English and in Spanish, the interpretation, and both of these will be shared after both the recordings will be shared afterwards. And so, yeah, while we get started, I'd also invite you to just introduce yourself in the chat, who you are, where you're joining from, either co-op or location, and share just a sentence about what your organization does. It's fun to see all the different industries and organizations we have in our program. Okay, so if you're new to the Worker Benefits Program or just need a refresher, our program, we're part of the U.S. Federation of Worker Cooperatives, and it's our goal to be connecting our members to health and financial security benefits to help strengthen jobs, to streamline the administration, because this can be really administration-heavy stuff. And it's also really important for everybody to remember that I, as the Worker Benefits Program Manager, and us as the USFWC staff, we work for you all, the members of the Federation. So it's our job here to help people access these benefits, to try and create the best benefit program we can. Run our
Hi, Maddie. Can I interrupt
Yeah.
just 1 second?
Mm-hmm.
Can the host assign me as an interpreter? And
Oh,
sorry
yeah.
to interrupt, but I need to take over for Tally's for a second.
Great.
Yes, let me assign
Thank you.
that. Thank you.
Thanks, Raquel.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we work for you all. We're here to help you. We don't work for the insurance companies. I'm here to sort of help navigate this very messy, very complicated, very difficult to understand system that we have in the United States. This is our most important time of year for the Worker Benefits Program. It's open enrollment time, which is the opportunity to get everything organized so that on January 1st, 2026, your members can have dental insurance, vision insurance, and now life insurance, disability insurance, accident insurance, hospital indemnity insurance, critical illness insurance. We're going to go over all of these things, how you can sort of pick and choose what's going to work best for you all. Yeah, and that's going to be great. So yeah, great to see folks here in the chat. Yeah, some fast facts about our program. We've been around since 2017. I've been in this role since 2020. This is my 6th open enrollment with everybody, so exciting. We've served over 1,500 individuals getting benefits through our program. We've enrolled at various points in time over 100 members across 25 states and 25 industries. And at the Federation, we have all kinds of different members. We have worker co-ops, we have democratic workplaces, we have the organizations that sort of build the infrastructure of our ecosystem. We have lenders, co-op developers, aligned nonprofits. And so our program is open to any of those members who want to join in. And as always, we have sort of a choose your own adventure option. We know all of our members have really different needs, so you're always going to be able to pick and choose to the extent that the insurance companies will let us, and regulations will let us, what benefits are going to work best for you. Um, and as always, this is my favorite photo. If you've been at one of my webinars before, you've seen this photo before. But it's just so important to me that we center this work in the fact that healthcare is a human right. And in this country, we don't currently get to enjoy that human right, but we should. And this program exists to sort of help people connect with healthcare. It's not like we can't fix all of the problems of our healthcare system with this little program, but we can help each other out. We can support each other. Um, I'm always going to validate that it's really hard to navigate insurance and do my best to help. Um, yeah. And yeah, just also to sort of get on the same page, I love to just note what is insurance after all. Um, and what insurance is it's a business. It's meant to generate profit for the insurance companies, and it's always going to be very aligned with a matter of preventing financial loss. So whether you're talking about health insurance, car insurance, business insurance, it's all about like how how can the insurance company predict how much money it might cost to basically like recoup if an unexpected expense comes up. Insurance isn't a guarantee that all costs are going to be covered, regardless of what reason. Insurance policies can be very rigid with what will cover or what they won't cover. It's not a social service, and it's not inherently interested in the well being of the people that it covers. Um, and that's why it can feel so dehumanizing to deal with insurance, is that sometimes it doesn't really seem like it's acknowledging that it's often the resource people have in some of our hardest moments. So, um, yeah, we're in this together, just trying to navigate it the best we can. Okay, so now we're going to get into our program benefits offerings. And so throughout this presentation, we'll have the English on the left side and Spanish translation on the right side in green. Um, So it's gonna look like a lot of words, but it's the same thing twice so that everybody can read along. So our program has two sort of main like buckets of benefits, I sort of think of it as. We have our benefits in the green bucket, which are the dental, vision, and as of this year, life insurance, disability insurance, all of these other sort of voluntary like financial security benefits. And these are all the ones that we help a lot with the administration for. We have one big plan that all of our members can join into. We get uh, the administration is sort of centralized through us. So you, as the member of the Federation, are paying your bills to us, and then we pull all that together and send it off to the insurance companies. Um, and then we can also help with the like enrollment, with navigating claims if people are having difficulty with that, and answering questions. The things in the blue bin are the benefits that we refer out to other administrators. We've got some medical insurance connections with Marsh McLennan, our broker. We've got our retirement benefits partner with Just Futures. And we've got our partner for HSAs, HRAs, FSAs with the Harrison Group. And we don't handle those benefits directly because it's, if not impossible, almost impossible to create one offering that's going to fit the needs of everyone in our membership, whether that's because of the cost difference or industries being different and having different needs, um, or the regulations state to state. I will try to slow down. Thanks for the note, Raquel. And yeah, like I was saying before, this is sort of the foundation of how the program functions. We, the Federation, get a big invoice every month for all of the benefits that we help administer in that green bin. We split it out and send an invoice to every one of the enrolled members. We have about 70 groups enrolled right now. And then you pay us your portion of the premiums as well as the administrative fees that we charge for the labor that goes into creating this program. We don't have fees for the referred out benefits administrators. In the past we did, but they have their own fee structures going on and we are just sort of like handing off that relationship. So we don't have those fees now. But all of these administrators might have their own fees associated. Yeah. And so what's new in 2026? So for dental and vision, our sort of old faithful of the program, we're going to continue offering that. We're going to continue offering the same level of benefits. Um, Prices are not completely finalized yet, but last I saw them, the dental was slightly lower than it is right now. So hoping that stays. Vision will be the same. The difference, though, for both of them is that we're moving all of our coverage to the Equitable company. So in the past, we had Delta Dental and Ameritas doing our vision insurance. And in 2026, we're going to have the Equitable Insurance Company doing dental. They have a bunch of different networks sort of all together as one. So I think United Concordia is the base, which has a big national reach with some other networks brought into it. And then for vision, in the past, we've offered IMED and VSP. And sort of the one trade-off we've had to make is that we have to just stick with VSP for 2026 because that's what Equitable offers. But along with this transition to the Equitable company, we're going to be adding again the short and long-term disability insurance. We've had short-term disability insurance in the past, but we're adding long-term. We're adding life insurance with a couple different options of how to arrange that. And then accident insurance, critical illness insurance, and hospital indemnity insurance, which are all sort of very simple. You pay one price. If something happens to you, you get a set amount of money in return. We will also be offering an employee assistance program for free with all of these benefits. I'll get into what that is, but I want to answer your question, Angelica.
Hi, thank you, Maddie. Are you guys are going to explain what hospital indemnity insurance is?
Yeah, I'm gonna go in depth onto what all of these are in the following slides. Yeah, because yeah, I hadn't heard of it before either. Um, yeah, so the other exciting thing, in addition to all of those, is that we're gonna have an employee assistance program, which is sort of like a confidential um, hotline almost that workers or their dependents can call to get all kinds of different support. And I'll go into that a little bit more later on. We're also going to keep using our central enrollment hub of Employee Navigator, which we've been using a little bit this year. And with these new benefits, it's going to become sort of even more important as a resource for people to be able to log in to a place online, see what benefits they have, and access information about it. So now we're going to go in depth on all of these. Like I was talking about with dental insurance, the sort of bones of the plan are going to be exactly the same as they've been before. So we'll have 100% coverage of preventative care. That means cleanings, exams, x-rays, twice a year for everybody. Pregnant people get an extra cleaning. And that's free, covered in the plan. For other procedures, there's partial coverage, either 80% coverage or 50% coverage, depending sort of on the degree of involvement, I guess. And that's covered up to $1,500 a year. And that's the same benefit that we've had in the past with Delta, with Ameritas before that. It also includes a pediatric orthodontist benefit, which is great. Like I said, the network is created by Equitable, and it includes several national networks. It also includes the out-of-network coverage that we've had before, where you can go to any dentist and get the same reimbursement directly that a dentist would get if you were to visit an in-network dentist. You'll see on all of these slides that I'm about to share, I'm sort of following a similar format because some of the premiums are calculated a little bit differently, but with dental, it's going to stay the same. It's one price for all the workers with additional cost for adding spouses, partners, children. Yeah. And then with the dental insurance and the vision insurance, we do have a program policy that each workplace has to pay in at least 50% of the worker premium. And we encourage that you pay as much of that as you can because it helps people stay enrolled. It helps people just have that sort of peace of mind that, like, my workplace has got my dental and vision insurance covered. I just have to go get my teeth cleaned. Yeah. Here we have a little shark with a toothbrush brushing their teeth. For vision insurance, we have, again, sort of a mirrored benefit from what we currently offer, which is an annual eye exam for a $10 copay, $25 copay for glasses or contacts, and then a $130 annual allowance towards frames. And those are for in-network optometrists, glasses, stores, wherever you're going to get your glasses or contacts from. And they also have an out-of-network benefit that doesn't cover quite as much, but still a portion of it. And so, like I said, we're moving to the VSP network only. VSP is mostly focused on like independent eye doctors, but also is associated with a lot of with some of these chains like VisionWorks, America's Best Contacts and Glasses, and more. And they have a site for that network as well. This is the same as dental. It's the same cost for every worker each month, with additional cost for dependents. And then the workplace pays for at least 50% of that worker cost. And this is about $6 per person per month. So it's pretty inexpensive for a pretty solid benefit if you have glasses or need contacts. All right, now we're gonna get into the new things, which frankly I'm still learning a little bit about. So we might come up with some questions that I don't have the answer to yet, which is okay. At our next webinar, we're gonna actually have our brokers, Robin and Michelle, here who can go like really in depth with the questions, but I'll do my best today. And if there are questions that we can't answer together, I'll make a note for Robin and Michelle and make sure we address that next time. So here we have life insurance and accidental death and dismemberment insurance, which is, I wish there was a different name because it's a lot to say and pretty gruesome. But nonetheless, it can be a very important benefit to help create financial security for loved ones in the event that someone dies, or in the event that someone has a catastrophic injury that changes the shape of their life. And so both of these function kind of the same way. They are a cash benefit to the beneficiary that's named by the person who has the life insurance policy. And the amount can really vary depending on how much you want to pay to have as the benefit. So I think the amounts go from like $10,000 to $100,000 that you can select. You can choose to add or not add the accidental death and dismemberment amount. You can also add it for partners or children. So there's sort of a wide variety of options. There's even an option where a workplace can choose to pay for a $20,000 benefit for everybody who is on their staff or in their cooperative. So there's a bunch of different options for how this works. And yeah, I'm excited that we're going to be able to offer it because this can be really expensive if you have to go get it sort of outside of the workplace. Getting it in the workplace means there's like fewer restrictions and it can be cheaper to get a policy that is all together. I'll take a pause if anyone has any questions about that.
I have a question, Maddie.
Mhm. Sure.
For the insurance you're just talking about, the life insurance I know some insurances only cover events that happen outside of the workplace. Would this one cover death or dismemberment if it happens at the workplace or outside of the workplace?
That is a question that I'm gonna have to pass along to Robin and Michelle. It's a really good question though. Yeah, I
Great,
will.
thanks.
Yeah. Great. Okay, well, we can move along to disability insurance. So disability insurance we've offered in the past, and this is gonna function. I think it's gonna be a little cheaper and it's gonna be a little more robust with the like involvement of administration, which is exciting because it can be a hard thing for people to sort of maintain long term, I think, without it being something that's like part of like payroll, paychecks, like part of their whole employee benefits packages on a, like a day-to-day basis. And so disability insurance is for people who can't work because of illness, injury, or childbirth. And that's specifically childbirth. It's unfortunately not for parents who don't give birth directly to a child. Um, and what it is ensuring is actually a person's income. So it's not related to medical care or like just having extra cash on hand to help. It's just to replace income that you don't get because you aren't being paid while you can't work. And so it will replace up to 60% of your gross income. So that's sort of meant to mimic like after tax take home pay. Um, and there are short term, which goes up to 6 months. And then new for us is long term, which can go up to years of replacing your income if you suddenly can't work. Disability insurance is always going to be calculated based on your age and your income. Um, and the cost can change depending on how your income or changes over time and as you age. So, yeah, that can be paid for either by the employer or the worker, or it can be sort of a combination of the two. And I think that there is an on the job sort of add on if you want to offer that for people who are getting injured or sick because of a job related event. Usually it's only off the job because of workers' comp accounting for on the job things. Okay. Are there any questions about that? Great. If questions come up, we can also take some time at the end to get into more questions as we sort of go on. Okay, now we're gonna get into the other three, which I'm sort of like grouping together because they work in a similar way. So we have accident insurance, which is designed to cover like out-of-pocket costs related to what happens when you have an accidental injury. There's a really like it's I don't want to make light of it, but it's like morbid in a like I'm a dark humor kind of person. So there's like a morbid list of things that the insurance company has that's like for each of these things, we'll give you this amount of money. So you break your leg, the insurance company will give you a flat amount for your leg that's broken and how broken it is. Did you take an ambulance to the hospital? Did you get an x-ray? Like it basically they will give you a payout that is like the insurance company's assessment of how much those things are worth. Um, and it's a really dark illustration of how insurance is just looking at like the monetary value that they assign like people. But that's how it works. And it can be a useful supplement if you have high out of pocket costs for healthcare, especially emergency healthcare. Um, because what this is they give you sort of an itemized list and give you a check, and you can do with it whatever you need to do with it, whether you need to pay for ride share to physical therapy or pay for childcare or food delivery or a hotel for a family person staying with you. You can use it for whatever you want. You don't have to like tell the insurance company what you're paying for. You can buy a bunch of books to read while you're not able to move around. Um, so yeah, and that's one flat cost. Workers can add children and partners for a flat cost. And that with this benefit, it's only available to be paid for by the worker. There might be some arrangements where a workplace could offer it, but it's really not designed for that. So if that's something that is of interest, we can sort of talk about it one-on-one and figure out what's feasible. Yeah. Then there's hospital indemnity insurance. Here we are. And so this works similarly to accident insurance in that you pay one set amount as your premium each month. The worker pays it. And if you have a hospitalization, they will pay out a flat amount based on the length of your time in the hospital and the level of care. So if there's like a higher amount that they pay out if someone's in intensive care for a period of time. But it's mostly just like the number of days you get a check, you can do with it what you need to do. You can pay it towards copays, you can do whatever you need. There are so many things that come up when people are in the hospital or need care that are just so often beyond our budgets or planned expenses. So that's what this can be really useful for. It's definitely not like enough. None of these are replacements for health insurance. They should sort of be thought of as like supplements for copays or high out-of-pocket costs, but they aren't gonna, the amount that they pay is not gonna touch like what a hospital bill would be. So that's important to keep in mind. And then critical illness insurance, same kind of thing. You buy the insurance policy, they have a list of illnesses that are covered, and if you're diagnosed with one, they pay you a benefit of $10,000. And that's the most like concrete one that we have here is like you get one of these illnesses, you get this money. It's one of those things where you yeah, I mean it's a really personal decision to determine if it's going to be worthwhile for you or not. And so yeah, I think it's a good thing to have available and could really help someone if they're in need and not expecting that. Yeah,
Maybe
and this
do we have
oh sure.
any example of the those those enfermedades? I forgot how to say it in
Oh,
English.
like which
Illnesses?
illnesses?
Yes.
Yeah, they're mostly cancer is definitely on the list. And other, other illnesses that are really difficult to be diagnosed with, basically. And the ones that typically involve like a lot of treatment, like a high level of care. I think it's less about chronic illnesses and more about like things that need acute treatment. Um, which is, very messed up in its own way, to exclude some of the things that, people are saddled with the expenses for a lifetime. So, I don't have the list of illnesses off the top of my head, but that's sort of the gist. And as we over the next couple of weeks, we'll have more like materials that have more concrete lists of that so you can review. And then finally, we have this benefit, which is I'm really excited about because it's free and it's included for everybody who's enrolled, no matter what benefit they're enrolled in. So here we have our little listening penguins. The Employee Assistance Program is a pretty widely available benefit. Um, and basically, what it's doing is just offering like confidential support that is given by your workplace, but you're not having to go like to your boss or to your coworker, which I think is really good, especially when we're in the like small workplaces and like probably we all know a lot of each other's business, but maybe there's something you don't want to get into, or something that you need like a sort of higher level of support with. And so the Employee Assistance Program offers confidential support for mental health counseling, grief, relationship difficulties, but also like finding care for loved ones, legal guidance, financial planning, and also navigating identity theft. Um, and the company that is going to provide this service has actually like support in so many different languages and globally. So, um, yeah, it seems like a really robust resource that I'm excited about and interested to hear people's experience with. But I know that, mental health is a really big need that so many of us have the need for support with that. And so I'm glad we're going to be able to offer this finally. And finally, I also wanted to just plug our retirement benefits partnership with Just Futures. Um, this is one of the blue bin benefits that we don't offer like direct administrative support with, but we do have a really close relationship with Just Futures, um, in helping our members create retirement plans for their workers. And they also have like preferred rates for USFWC members. So whether you come to them through a referral from me or just go reach out to them directly, they have like very discounted startup fees and some lower sort of admin fees on an ongoing basis for Federation members. So we're really excited about that and excited to have a partnership with a group that's like so aligned with Federation values and trying to figure out how to plan for the future in a way that like is actually investing in the future that we want. Um, so if you're interested in that, go talk to them. They're great. I'm happy to make a connection. Um, they offer support with plan design, onboarding, implementation, and support. And yeah, one of the reasons we decided to work with them directly is because we don't have the capacity to do this level of in-depth support on such an important thing. So instead of reinvent the wheel, we have these partners that really know what they're doing. So yeah. Okay, so I've just given you a lot of very new information. And this is like the first time I'm talking about some of these benefits to like our program as a whole. I'm sure you have questions that I'm also sure there's probably thoughts about like how do we even decide what to offer? Um, and so I think there's like two really important things to consider. One, obviously, is budget. Um, for the benefits that would be your organization paying for, or that you could opt into the organization paying for. Does your 2026 budget have room for offering more benefits? The admin fees, which go to which come from the organization. Some of these require organizational contribution. Some of them have the option. Some of them um, don't have an organizational contribution. Is it something that's in your members or your workers' budgets? That's like obviously a really important question and discussion to be having. And then there's the question of organizational capacity to implement these benefits. Um, the Federation is not like our sort of administrative involvement is from organization to us to insurance company. So we aren't going to be doing like collecting premiums from workers directly. So making sure that you have the ability to set up the systems for um, doing like the payroll things that need to be done, making sure that um, the premiums are collected and going off to the Federation monthly. Um, our program is designed to create some wiggle room if you have like a moment of like, oh no, our cash flow is really off this month. Can we pay next month? But we do need to collect the premiums sooner rather than later, month to month. So yeah, those are sort of the two really important questions. And I'm also happy to speak one-on-one to talk about sort of some of the considerations or think through some of that. Yeah, and so our timeline, we're diving into open enrollment like right now. October, this is the time to be having those conversations about what benefits you're going to offer in 2026. Um, and so contacting me, asking questions, or saying, hey, we're ready to do this. The participation agreement, which is sort of the like contract that you sign with the USFWC to say, hey, we're doing this. That's going to be like the document where you're saying we want this, 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 and this, so that when your workers get access to Employee Navigator to do the enrollment, they only get access to the things that the organization, you as the member, has agreed to make available. So yeah, November is going to be the like big, all the people enroll time. And then December, we'll be doing like the usual cleanup, organizational checking in, making sure everything is as it should be. And yeah, then distributing plan information so that when January comes around, people have their benefits and are ready to go. I'm seeing in the chat, Emily, you had a question about the previous slide.
Yeah, you might have to go back to it for me to remember. It was about the premiums and like who pays for them, the organization or the individual. I think, oh yeah, okay. No organizational contribution, you have accident, hospital indemnity, and critical illness listed. Does that mean my company could not, like legally or just the way these plans are set up, we cannot contribute to those premiums? They'd have to be 100% employee paid. Is that what that means?
They're designed like that. I think that if you have a situation where you're going to pay for them for everybody, it is probably doable for you to pay for them directly. I think that's something I'm looking for a little more clarity on too, as some of these like plan documents come out. But I think it's mostly about like, I think if everybody gets them, probably it's okay for the organization to pay for.
Okay, and then the optional organizational contribution, that means our company could decide for us, like we could contribute some or none or
Mhm.
all of the premium. Like,
Yeah.
is that what that means?
Yeah, I think with the life insurance and the disability insurance, there's sort of like the way it's designed is that there is like a base that the organization would pay for, and
Okay,
then like an add-on that workers can pay for themselves. Um, I think if you have like a specific situation in mind, we should talk about it one-on-one to sort of see where there's wiggle room and where there isn't. Um, but this is sort of like the default of how they're set up.
okay,
Um, and that is totally fine for if anybody has a specific question about like, hey, can we do this a little bit differently? Like all of our members function differently, so I think there are some things where there are constraints of the insurance company. There are some things where it's just like this is the simplest way, and like most corporations don't care to pay for their employees accident insurance, but if you want to, you probably can. So it's all it can all be a little bit mushy. So yeah. All right, and now we have our FAQ about who can and can't enroll and when and why and how. Um, so as I was saying earlier, any member of the Federation is eligible to participate in our program, and like as long as they have the eligible workers. Um, so that includes associate members, that we have a $500 dues minimum for associate members. Um, then yeah, and so any type of entity can enroll as long as they have two or more enrolling workers who are taxed as employees or as worker owners. So 1099 contractors cannot enroll in these benefits. And that's just like a hard and fast rule of employer benefits in the United States is that if someone's like a contractor, they aren't an employee, so they aren't eligible for employee benefits. Um, and yeah, another question that I've been getting a lot of recently is if an employer has to be a direct member of the federation to participate, or if like being a member of a federation member is okay. Um, and the way my colleague Ryan put it the last time I spoke about this, like whoever is signing the paycheck or yeah, the payment to the worker, that group has to be the one enrolled in the program as a member of the federation. Um, New federation members can enroll can do this process of enrolling in benefits while they get their membership set up. We can do that process like concurrently because our teams have different timelines. Uh, so that part's okay. Like I've said, each member does not have to offer all the things we have available. You can pick and choose what's going to work best for you. Um, we, as a program, will not collect payments directly from workers. It's all going to be invoiced through the employer, through the workplace. Open enrollment itself ends November 21st. And so that's the deadline when we need a participation agreements and rosters. And then we can finish the like individual people enrolling throughout the end of November and December. But it worked really nicely last year to have that deadline a little bit earlier so that everyone had time to get things in. Do you have to enroll during open enrollment? This has been coming up a lot lately. Um, Existing members, so if your workplace is already a member of the USFWC, um, now is the time. Open enrollment is the opportunity to get started with benefits. And I think most of the people on this call are already members and most are already enrolled in the program. So you have your timeline going fine. Angelica, do you have a question?
Yes, Maddie, thank you. Our membership costs will go up if we add more benefits.
Oh, good question. Yeah, so your membership dues to the USFWC are one thing, and that's sort of like what the dues are is independent of the program. But for each benefit within the program, there is an associated administrative fee. So when you're in the process of like looking at the materials and signing up, the fees will be really clear what those are monthly. And that's in addition to dues. It's a good question. Yeah. And so for groups that are new to the Federation, new members can enroll mid-year up until August, at which point we say like enrollment for new members closes and new groups can be part of the next open enrollment cycle. The other really important thing is that workers can only start or end their enrollment during open enrollment unless they have a qualifying event that allows them to change their plan during the year. So that's like moving, getting married, getting divorced, having a baby, like moving in with a partner. All of those things would allow someone to start or stop benefits. But we can't have people just like adding or ending benefits throughout the year as they need them because part of the sort of deal with the insurance company is that you're going to have your benefits all year, use them when you need to use them. Okay, that is the end of my content for today. We have another webinar coming up in 2 weeks where we will have more of the like nitty-gritty detail information about these plans, what the costs are, how enrollment works. And we'll be joined by Robin and Michelle, who are our brokers at Marsh McLennan. They're really excited about working with all of us. We can all come be a Zoom sea creature. And yeah, I mean now we have this is scheduled to go till 5:30. You are welcome to leave, but also if you have questions, now we have plenty of time for questions. So yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Feel free to reach out to me. Benefits at usworker.coop. You'll find me there. And yeah, I'm really excited about what's new and happy to be working with you all. So thanks for coming.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thanks so much. Thanks for all the questions.
Well,
I have a question because several, when they said, who's paying the worker? So what does that mean? Like when the worker pays, does that mean that the member of the cooperative pays separately from their personal account? Or does a cooperative, can they deduct that cost from the worker from the benefit that the worker elected, or how does that work? Or what does it mean when the worker pays?
It's a great question. So if the worker is paying, what that would mean is that basically each workplace would determine the best way to collect that money. So you could do it with payroll deductions. You could do it by having people pay your co-op so you can pay the federation. But I think the most common way would be to do it with deductions from paychecks. Um, and that's going to depend a little bit on each group's operations and how you do that. And that's not something that I have insight into because everybody does it differently.
Thank you. That clarifies things a lot.
Great. Cool. Steve or Emily or Lucas, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I had one more, Maddie. You had medical insurance listed as something that, the Federation doesn't administer. Were you going to say more about what that option is? Or will we learn more about that at the next webinar?
Yeah, so we'll talk about that a little bit at the next webinar, but basically like now, whereas in the past the broker we were working with was working in really limited states, now that we're working with Robin and her team at Marsh McLennan, they don't have a limitation on the states that they work with. So if you're looking for a new broker, I can definitely connect you or anybody directly with their team to sort of to find out what they have available with medical insurance offerings.
Okay, and can you just clarify what an insurance broker does for those of us who don't know a lot about the insurance
Yeah.
business?
It's
Thank
a
you.
really good question. So typically an insurance broker is going to be the like touch point between the workplace and the insurance company. And so what they will do is like take all the information about your company, like the census and where you're located and what sort of characteristics you want out of an insurance plan. And then they will take that and look at like all the different offerings out there, whether that's with like one of the big like national insurance companies or with something like smaller and more local. And they'll they basically can do the shopping for you and then help you understand what the options are.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Hey Maddie, this is Steve.
Hey,
Thanks for the
Steve.
presentation. I've got a question. I feel like I'm pretty close to knowing like what we want here, but the thing I'm gonna need is for our own budget for a couple of these,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to know like the cost. Like, could you work with me like nowish on that, or is that something that you need more time for? Like we could engage whenever you want on that, if you
Yeah,
can
I think
calculate it.
the these insurance companies love to leave everything until the absolute
They do.
last
I know they do.
possible
I know they
moment.
do. Yeah.
I have preliminary rates for all of these that I think most of them will probably stay as is. I'm hoping they'll be finalized in the next like week or so.
That's cool. Like even
Um,
estimates I can work with. If they're like even
yeah.
like roughly, I can kind of get
Mhm.
there. Probably I can figure it out. I just got to work it through an approval system here. So
Yeah,
I don't know if you can share
totally.
that. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think if you want to reach out and uh let me know what you're looking for, I
Yeah.
can figure out what is fine to
Awesome.
share and what I'll have more time with.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and I'm always happy to sort of dive deeper in anyone's specific questions. It's just I have 70 groups that probably have very specific questions, so you gotta reach out to me to find out. All right. Well, Steve and Lupe, if you are all set on your questions, I think we can leave it at that.
I'm good. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for coming, Steve.
Yeah.